Who are you and why are you here?
So my name is Audra Knight, and I lead employer branding for Foundation Medicine, which you mentioned in the Boston area. And it's a company that I feel so lucky to work for because it truly is mission driven. Like every company says they're mission driven. And I was sold that in the interview, and I was thinking, let's actually see what it's like. But it really is. Like I just did a story about 2 of our account executives that are in remission from cancer themselves. And now they're going out and helping with cancer care, and it's so inspiring.
So in moving forward into 2025, what advice would you have for your peers out there?
For employer branding peers? Yeah. I think making sure you're doing more than just recruitment marketing, because there's so much more I think you can do with your role, especially partnering with internal communications. Like they're having all these stories about employees. Make sure you're both having the stories and they're ensuring them, or your stories are going internal and external. And I think we can also help with internal mobility, which is getting really important because like the younger generation.
It's just surprising, right? Because it should have always been important, but now it just seems to be incredibly important.
And I think in our role we can really help with that.
Yes.
Like I've built internal portals where I can help market. You know, if you have rotations, or I've seen companies that are doing like gigs, and I think any way that someone, if maybe they can't be promoted every year, but they can still grow, and you can help market that as an employer brand person. So not just thinking externally, but thinking other ways you can also help internally, not just advocacy too.
Yeah.
I love that you're actively communicating with internal communications and marketing, and I think a lot of organizations are challenged with, well, this is TA or HR, this is marketing.
Silos.
Stay away from each other, but you haven't. Talk about how that happened and how you engage on a regular basis.
So that's one thing I learned like early on, because I have had struggles in the past with like marketing, understanding the work I'm doing. So as soon as I got in this company, I was like, let's go. I'm going right to marketing. I'm going right to internal comms. External comms is, somewhat separate, and just becoming besties and explaining right from the beginning, like this is what I'm doing, and this is how it's a win-win for both of us. Yeah. So like we can partner on this advocacy tool we have. I'm going to give you content because you are always looking for more content. I'm going to help promote your content, and just making it right from the beginning, like we are a team, let's work together. And it's just so useful now. Like they come to me and be like, what about a story on this? And I can go to them, and we just have this, I feel really thankful, but I did make sure that was a priority.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So in 2024, looking backward, thus far, what has surprised you the most?
I think just being here today, seeing the amount of different tools, because when I started in employer branding, you had a dusty old ATS, and if you wanted, if you want like a CRM, there was like 4. And you're like, okay, which of these 4 am I going to buy? Yeah. And now it's like, I don't even know where to start looking, in a good way, because you can be really picky. Yeah. And I remember if you wanted an employee-generated video tool, that wasn't even a thing. Yeah. And now they're just everywhere. There's so many different options. But tools are so important to our role. Can I give a shout out to mine because they're here today? But I have quite a few, but Clinch Talent is one I've used now for 7 or 8 years. Okay. And I really can't imagine doing my role without it. Because again, the metrics I'm getting from them, I'm in the tool like every day. I'm building new web pages, external, internal, and people are seeing that. And I have total like control of our careers website and the blogs. But I couldn't do that with a dusty old ATS. So I think if you have any kind of budget, put it just in the right tools. And you don't have to have a massive budget, but.
You're in a very competitive space. You mentioned some of the tools. Talk about the messaging, how you differentiate. What platforms are you leveraging that are successful for you?
I think the trick is knowing how you're different. And I feel like some agencies come in and then they build this beautiful like tagline and employer brand, and it looks like every other, so that's the challenge, I think. So I think really, if you have an agency, like work with them, how actually are we different? Or I think you can do that internally, which is what I have done. And so first I'll work with like the recruiters of the different functions. Then we'll build like a pitch, like an EVP per function that we feel like is the sell and what actually is different. So like for mission, that is really important for software engineers because they could work anywhere where it's not mission driven, but we don't push the mission as much in our medical teams and our R&D teams because they are probably working in oncology space and the missions, there's so much of a great mission either way. So knowing that, and then after we feel like we have our pitch, we bring that to the leaders of the function or different people in the function and say, do you agree? And actually have a workshop. So not just an email, because they're busy. They're not going to write back and be like, but if you have a workshop and be like, go through it, do you agree with these pitches? Are there things that we missed? And then I actually took that and built with Clinch a whole like internal tool where employees, because also I think we talk about recruiter enablement, which is great.
Yes.
But what about hiring manager enablement, like employee enablement? So that's what I'm trying to do, and it's a tool so that any employee or any hiring manager come in there, go to their specific division, see their own EVP that we created just internally for free, and then videos that we've from our video tool where they can just take them, copy and paste, post it to LinkedIn and share the content.
So in 2025, what is your major priority?
That's a good question. I think looking internally more because we are a little bit slower, like most people hiring just at the moment. So thinking about how I can add value internally in other ways, and just being really specific too on our hiring needs. The ones that we are hiring that are critical, how can I get in there, create content, whether that's a blog or a video, and then make sure that gets shared by the right people and seen. Because I've seen people, they create this beautiful thing and they just like post it on their company LinkedIn channel. But I will be like, we'll do that. But then I give that to the leaders of that function and be like, copy and paste. I would love it if you personalize it, but you might be busy or not have the time. So here's just really easy. You make sure every employee that is in that network, they send this out on their LinkedIn, and of course make sure it's trackable.
How do you look at diversity, equity, inclusion, and how are you coordinating with marketing to make sure that message is cohesive and packaged for the community?
Yeah. It's really been interesting to see how some companies are putting less effort into that. But I think either way, as an employer brander, you have to think about your content and weaving it in, but only if that's true. Like if you honestly aren't a very diverse company, do not be just interviewing and asking for videos for your ERNs, and then the person comes in and it's not very diverse. So just making sure you're thinking about it and talking to different people in the ERNs, but it's also very authentic. So those people that are saying that, they actually, truly believe are diverse, and it's just got to be real. Because I feel like I'm seeing some companies that are like, we're so diverse, and they're not. So.
And if there's anything we know about Audra, she is real. Audra Knight, thank you so much for sitting down with us. If somebody wants to connect with you, or maybe, I don't know, apply for a job.
Or be in the band.
Or be in the band.
Yeah.
Or be in the band. Where would you send them?
Yes, I think I'm the only Audra Knight on LinkedIn, or easily searchable.
The coolest
on
name.
LinkedIn.
I love it.
Yes. Awesome.
Did I mention I was in first chair in 6th grade for saxophone, so I may be auditioning.
Very cool. Our boys are playing piano now and percussion, so I'm thinking we might have in the band, we'll have a pianist and a drummer.
A new Chicago. Let's do this.
Yep.
Thanks, Audra.
Awesome. Thanks for
Enjoy the
having me.
show.
Awesome. Thank you.